to impress you with what I'm talking about. For example, this is just one page of, I don't know, 6 or 8 pages. Let me see if, we'll look at this one here. What this is, these are all different companies. For example, this is Carl Brothers Garage Auto Repairs. It has 3 workers, 3 male workers. But here's Central Glass, Preston Blown Glass. There are 323 men who work in that company, and another 87 women. 400. Here's a little stogie maker. What's he called? Christian Barber Stogies, 4 people. But, just to try to prove my point that this is the workshop of the world, that's one page. Look at this page that has Wheeling Steel on it. Okay? Wheeling Steel, the Creek Mill, they make sheets. That's 600 and some jobs. Wheeling Steel, the Warwood plant, tin cans, 180 jobs. LaBelle Works, nails, what? 303 jobs. Where they make stoves and ovens, 400 and some jobs. Wheeling Traction Company, street railroads, and what do we have? 556 people work for the Wheeling Traction Company. I think you would be amazed at the kinds of businesses. Wheeling Intelligence, 79 workers. How many do you have today? You have 79? Okay. Wheeling Mold and Foundry. Castings, steel castings. That's where they made those big things for the Panama Canal. 600 and some workers. The Match Company. A couple of people work for the Match Company. Weimer Packing. Weimer used to make the ham. Toasted ham and wiener. Did they make the world wiener?
They were all known for the ham.
Oh, okay. Welty Buick. And it's page after page. Look at, some of you probably have never heard of Augustus Pollock. Next time you go up on the Fort Henry Bridge, right next to the old Red Cross building, there's that big statue there with 2 workers. That's to this guy. 295 in that plant, another 75, so there are almost 400 workers. Scars. Wonderful, wonderful fellow. When he died, he left money for indigent people to go to City Hospital or ODMC, and a scholarship for a kid to go to Lindsay from working class family. But I mean, it's just amazing when you see all of these different kinds of products that are being made in Wheeling. And one of the things that we did is that we went out and we tried to get people to come to Wheeling. It's a live town. But look at some of the things that they're pointing to that we don't have anymore. We've got 8 railroads. Not now, you don't. Okay. You've got, see, here's another big one. Wheeling manufacturers are overnight from the biggest markets. In other words, you're overnight from Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, and so on. Remember, when the census of 1910 was taken, West Virginia has more people than Florida. Okay? California is a relatively small state in terms of population. Texas has a very small population. Arizona is not even a state yet. Arizona still wouldn't be a state unless somebody, because they invented air conditioning. You can't live in Arizona without air conditioning. We spent a July in Arizona 20-something years ago, and my family's just forgiven me for taking them. Remember, Dad, when you took us all the way out there? Yes, I do. I thought you would enjoy it. Oh, no. But, we've got... But some of these things are still the same. Number one, we've got plentiful coal. We've got cheap transportation on the Ohio River. Okay? And look down here. What was in the paper today? Something about the schools in West Virginia and who ranks toward the top, if not at the top? Ohio County. Okay? We've got cheap electricity. So you've got things like that. And we used to publish these things. Here's another example. Wheeling, chief city of West Virginia, the fuel stand. And it's not just coal. What are the other big ones? Gas. Oil. We ranked in the beginning of the 20th century, we probably ranked in the top 4 states in terms of oil production. When I was doing my history of Weirton about 11 years ago, I was trying to determine what was it that was the catalyst that set Weirton into the 20th century as this big industrial place. And it all came down because somebody discovered oil outside of Weirton. So I found an old geological map, and I had it blown up, and I had some work study students. And I gave them the map, and I said, what I would like you to do is I want you to go through, and I want you to count for me the number of oil wells in the first 2 districts, Grant and I forgot the other district, in Hancock County. Don't bother with the top of the county. I just want the bottom 2, magisterial districts. 460-some oil wells. Down in Follinsby, my wife's grandfather came to the area because he was a wildcat. And he was in the oil. But if you know where Archer Heights is, just before you get to the Market Street Bridge up on the hill, there are 112 oil wells up there. There are gas wells everywhere. We think this Marcellus Shale is a new thing. No, we went through that at the beginning of the 20th century. When my mother and I were going through some of her family's old papers, and we came across a certificate for a gas company that had wells on the top of Mount Washington in Pittsburgh. You can imagine putting a gas well up there. And we thought maybe we had struck it rich, because no. Of course, we didn't strike it rich. I think Javersak, when you translate it from the Croatian, means he who is eternally poor. My wife thought she married a rich man. The 2-day honeymoon maybe was a suggestion that got 30 miles from the church. Probably wasn't an indication. But you'll notice this comes out of the Board of Trade. We've got cheap fuel, we've got